Hey, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbarakatham. All praise to the Most High, man. Hey, we know that y'all ready for this class, man. But before we get started, you have to share the class, push it out to everybody. I'm about to drop a link right now for our brothers, right? So everybody can start jumping in. Last week we told you to read Genesis 15 and 16, but we actually gonna hit 17 as well. So we gotta get this work tonight, man. Let me hit y'all. Let me hit these brothers with the link real quick, and we're gonna get right into it.
He said,
Hey, if you want to, you can start shouting people out.
he said, sniper attack. We are going into another chapter of Genesis.
That's right.
Nobody was ready for that.
Nobody. Another one.
Another one. DJ Khaled style on you.
That's right.
All right. So quick shout outs real fast. And I know people still gonna be coming in the building. So shout out to the sister Joan Gilchrist, always being first on the class. Shout out to Anariah House of Nadab, DTA Twine, Shalom. So I know he gonna be in here. Shalom to Diane Bond Zebulon, Shalom sis. Shalom to John Allen, Shalom. Shalom to Carla Taylor, Shalom Carla. Shalom to Captain Judah, Shalom King. I was gonna say shalom to myself. That's kind of funny.
Over righteous.
Of course, to the camp, shalom, shalom to world without end, shalom, brother, shalom to DTA Twan. Like I said, we're gonna see him in here, man. Shalom, King. Shalom to the sister Gabriella, shalom, sis. Shalom to Be Like Ants, brother Gary, shalom, King. Shalom to the brother Nadiyab, shalom, King. Shalom to Captain Shaquat. And also a hearty shalom to everybody else that is coming onto the class and might be running a little bit behind. Also, real quick, I see that I don't know why he dropped this in the bottom. He got a promotion going on right now. So you can get 25% off of all products of that good, smooth like butter. We know you need something for them ashy feet and ashy knees.
And elbows. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You might have a little crust on the back of your neck, you know what I'm saying? Because you ain't reached back there in a while, you know what I mean? Go ahead and get you some smooth like butter and smoothing on up.
God, hey, that's gonna be a short right there. That's easy. That's a clip. We're hooking you up today, man. Hooking you up. All right. Hey, look, speaking of hooking people up, register for the Passover, right? Register for the Passover 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia, right? If you go to this website, www.anointedhouseofsaints.org, you can go ahead and register. There will be no email RSVPs this year, right? Hit this link, go into the website, fill out the form. That's how you're going to get your RSVP done. That's how you're going to be on site, right? And you're going to be able to enjoy the Passover. It was a beautiful thing last week, right? All Things Hebrew online store dropping in 2 weeks, right? Be ready for that, right? We are literally trying to give you all elements of the culture, right? So support us in doing that, because as we build this culture for us, later on our children are going to be able to enjoy this, right? They're going to be able to eat off the fruit of this. So please support the brothers in their endeavors, right? Now, another thing I wanted to bring out is prospect phase, January 21st of 2024, right? We will be trying to start our new prospect phase. Well, we will be starting our new prospect phase. So if y'all are interested in that, you can hit us with an email. Perhaps maybe in the future, we'll also have a link for that online as well. But right now, just hit us with an email. We'll do just fine, right? So, hey, I wanted to hit you with that. Anything else we want to tell them? Hey, Shalom, Soldier Kadash, Shalom. Anything else we want to hit them with real quick, Boaz, before we get started?
From what I'm seeing in the chat, I think that's about it. Shalom to the brother Kodash coming on to the class.
Hey, that's right. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna post one more thing, man. You know what?
Got one more thing.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got that one. That's right. Go ahead. I know y'all haven't seen the ad in a while, but listen, man, go buy that book, A Time After Forever by Adawan Yonatan, man. Y'all need to get that and read that. Look, if we're gonna do anything as far as like coming together as a people, culturally and everything like that, and start working together, there is elements in this books and teachings about things that he has put together from other sources to be able to direct us on the right path so we can start doing those things and elevating.
God.
But if we don't read it and don't talk about it, guess what? We're gonna be stagnant and in the same place.
Hey, that's right.
So
That's right. All praises. Hey, look, yeah, go get it, man. Amazon. If you haven't read it, get it and read it, because one day, I keep saying this, but one day we're gonna sit down and break it down, right? And some of those principles in that book are being brought to life right here on www.civilexchange.org. So if you know any scholars, educators in your family, professors, speakers that work in Black and Latino communities, link them up with us, because we want to start building those bridges and having those conversations. This is how we're going to get into the back door, proverbially, right, of the educated community in the Black and Hispanic community, because we got a lot of educated people that's hard to reach. It's hard to reach them with prophecy. It's hard to reach them with breakdowns in scriptures. We got to go another route, right? We got to be as wise as serpents, but as harmless as doves, man. So all praise to the Most High. We have to do this. Now, not going to harp on that no more, right? So I want to hit y'all with this, man. Genesis 15 through 17. We got to get into it. It's a little bit of breaking down we got to do, so we need to start reading it. If y'all have any questions on these chapters in particular, go ahead and start loading them up in the chat. We will hit them at the end of the class. All right. So with no further ado, let's go ahead.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 15 and verse 1. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus?
Okay, so real quick. So Abraham is asking the Most High, yo, I don't have an heir. I haven't had a son yet to pass my inheritance down to. In Hebrew culture, it was natural, and it was the process that when you had children, you gave them something. Right? Now that we've been in captivity, we largely have nothing to give to our children. When we look at the Jewish community, right? The Jewish community on a large scale is able to hand down hundreds of thousands of dollars to their children when they die, whether that be through an insurance policy, whether that be through a trust, whether that be through owning business or whatever capital they may have or whatever liquid assets they may have, right? So we need to get better at stacking up resources to give to our children. Let's get that proverb in Ecclesiastes. Actually, it's in Sirach, my fault. It's in Sirach. It's the one that says a wise man leaveth an inheritance for his children. This is not in a lesson, but I got to pull it. Let me find that real quick. Right? Hey, Shalom, Adawan Kanal, Shalom, Officer Shemaiah, Shalom, Captain Aharon. Right? We shouting out everybody, man. All praise to the Most High. Now, let me see. Leave it an inheritance, right? I used to pull this all the time. Proverbs 13 and 22. It is Proverbs. It is Proverbs. I tried to get away because I said it's a proverb from Ecclesiastes. Right? I tried to get away. I knew I was going to hit one up.
You said 22?
Hey, that's right. 13 and 22.
God, this book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth
Come on.
Kind. And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
So let's break this down real quick, right? A wise man is making provisions to hand down to the next generation. A wicked man, anything he planned to hand down to the next generation, the righteous is going to end up with it.
Right.
We're going to see that play out here in this chapter, Genesis chapter 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, Shemaiah, you can't have it. You can't have it. And look, I ain't even turned the light on yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait till I get my setup right, man. Y'all brothers gonna have to step up. Right? Right. Hey, all praise to the Most High, man. All right, let's get back into Genesis 15. Hit me with verse 3. So Abraham is saying, I don't have a child. I'm gonna have to leave my stuff to a man that was born in my household. He's a servant, right? But watch what the Most High says.
Okay. Verse 3. And Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
Come on.
And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
Come on.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be.
Verse 6.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for a righteousness.
Hey, so Abraham believed in what the Most High said, and the Most High counted that for righteousness towards Abraham. Now, we have to go into this because your Christian brothers and sisters are going to say what? Right? They're going to take you to James 2:23. Let's get that. And I'm going to hold Galatians 3:6.
I got a precept too.
Yeah, come.
You said James 2?
Yeah, James 2:23.
It's the book of James, chapter 2 and verse 23. And the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of God.
You see that? So it's referenced in the New Testament. Now it's referenced one more time. If I can get you to jump over to Galatians 3:6. And we're going to actually hit Galatians 3. Let me show you where to start at. It's going to be Galatians 3.
3 and 6.
Yeah, let's start at 6, but we're going to read down to 9.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 6. Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
You see that, you Hebrew Israelites? You see that? Because if you have faith in the Most High God, then everybody's the children of Abraham, right? That's what they're gonna say,
right?
But let's not forget the direct context of the chapter we are reading. There is a man that was born in Abraham's house that was not from the chosen bloodline. The Most High said he will not be your heir. And then you read a story that's quoting this from the New Testament and say anybody on earth who believes is a son of Abraham. Well, how come the man in Genesis who was in Abraham's house and who did whatever Abraham told him to do, how come the Most High God ain't give him the covenant?
Right.
You got to deal with that. You got to hold that L, man.
Yeah, they can't do that.
There's no way around that. So they got to stop using Galatians 3 and 6 like that. But keep reading, read down to 9.
Kind of one. And the scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in these shall all nations be blessed. So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham.
So if you just read that in isolation, it's easy to get the interpretation that anybody who believes in the Most High God, or i.e. has faith in the Most High God, is a child of Abraham, right? Well, it can't be true because the context of the story where this is quoted from shows you an exact example of a person who followed Abraham and did not get the covenant. It's that simple, right? So I'm gonna let you get your precept and then we can jump back into Genesis.
All right. Well, precept going off of that verse where it talks about where it says, foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preach before the gospel unto Abraham. So it's like this was said before the gospel to Abraham that the heathen was going to be blessed. But we see that and we read this in Genesis 12:3, where it says, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So if the seed of Abraham was blessed by them, then they would be blessed. But
Right.
because we are not blessed, that's the reason
Right.
why you see all this stuff that's going on right now in the earth.
There you
Right?
go.
Esau about to lose his kingdom. You know what I'm saying? You got everything with the wars and all that going on with the nations.
Right.
You know, we ain't in the position that it was prophesied where we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to be above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Where if we're blessed, they're blessed.
Correct.
But that's not happening.
That's right.
This was my other precept over here in Deuteronomy, Salakia. Deuteronomy 1:10. That's what I want.
Con, I got you. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 10. Yahweh your God have multiplied you. And behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude.
Right. So we know that Deuteronomy chapter 1 is when you see the beginning of it, is talking about them over in Jordan. This is after they came out of the captivity over in Egypt, right? And this is telling us like they are multiplied like the stars. They are as the stars that can't be counted or numbered, you know. So that's just prophecy coming to be fulfilled that we can see in the scriptures. But
that's right. Now that's beautiful. So y'all should have that precept beside verse 5, right? You should have that precept beside Genesis 15:5, because that's showing, like he said, the Most High's words coming to pass. And I'm so happy you did that, because I'm gonna show y'all another verse a little bit later where prophecy comes to pass, right? So we're gonna read right into it. Let's hit verse 7.
Kind of verse 7. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 7. It says, and he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
So the Most High commanded him to take 5 different animals, right? And then we're going to let the story unfold. But different scholars kind of go back and forth on what the symbolism of this is. We don't necessarily have a precept that breaks this symbolism down, but we do know what it represents. This is the Most High through a sacrifice forming a covenant with Abraham, right? And we're going to read it. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And he took unto him all these and divided them in the midst and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not.
Now, when it says one piece, one against another, he just lined them all up basically like in 2 rows, right? Come on.
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away.
Right. He had to drive them away because the fowls that eat dead carcasses are unclean birds. That would have desecrated his whole covenant, right? You know what I'm saying? That would have messed up his whole sacrifice. So that's the only reason it's telling you that. That's an unnecessary piece of information.
Right.
But it's telling you that to let you know that even then Abraham knew this was an important thing he was doing, and he didn't want no unclean birds coming over there to touch what he set aside for the Most High.
Right.
Now, spiritually, using our precepts, we know what the unclean bird represents, right? That eagle that comes from the other end of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So spiritually, that eagle that comes from the other end of the earth, that vulture that comes from the other end of the earth, that's the other nations that's coming to devour the children of Israel. And I'm just being spiritual here. And Abraham is keeping those away, right? So that he can dedicate these creatures to the Most High, right? Follow that. Use that, what I just said, and watch what comes next, right? Go ahead.
All right. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Stop right there. Let's get Exodus 12 and 40. Now, real quick, a lot of people would say that this 400 years right here is the slavery in the Americas.
Right.
We don't teach it like that. Just to give you an idea, we believe that this is a foreshadowing of future captivities, right? And may serve as a symbolism of future captivities. But there's an actual precept that says that's not what this is talking about.
Right.
Right. So let's read it real quick. Exodus 12, 40 and 41.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
You see that? So why is the Bible telling us that? Why is the Bible going out of its way to explain that the self-same day on the 430th day, that's when the children of Israel left Egypt? Because this is the fulfillment of the promise that the Most High gave to Abraham, right? But let's keep reading, because verse 14 is going to give you even more clarity on that. Back in Genesis 15. Shalom, Adawan. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatam. Barakatah. Hey, and Zara, Shalom. I saw your name up there too. All praises. We appreciate y'all for jumping in here tonight. Like I said, if you have any questions, make sure to get them things in chat. We got to make this a live discussion, because if we don't, it's going to be a boring class. Let's just keep it real. If you're not engaged, it's going to be boring, right?
Drop y'all's precepts or something in the chat. If you got precepts, like, y'all should be studying and reading, you know what I'm saying? And if you are, you should have some precepts. Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Or if you got questions, drop them in the chat, so that way you could be edified, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to sit back here and be teaching something and you just like soaking it in, and it's just like you going to church on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's background noise.
Right. I do got a precept though, Adawan.
Fine, let's get it.
Real quick. This is the book of Acts chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, and God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. This is what Adawan is speaking on as far as like them different captivities, because this is a whole nother instance. This is in the new, quote unquote New Testament, right?
That's right.
So that's how you know, like, it's not just one particular captivity that is speaking about. And like Adawan said, if we look at the captivity that we was in, they say it's from 1619. I don't observe it like that. I'll be like, it started 1492.
Right. Or 14. Some people say 1440. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's an excellent point. And I'm actually happy that you brought out that Acts precept, because I seen that precept and I ain't write it down, and then you brought it out. So I'll pray. Hey, Shalom, Judah, what's going on, King?
Hey, Shalom, man. I had something to say, but I think I'm gonna just not say it.
Brother.
Hey, look, man. I'm gonna say it right. Check this out, because the brother just said, man, y'all got to be on engaged in the class and all this stuff. But check this out, right? Let me get on the Thursday night class with a video of TD Jakes and Clefto and Geno and them. And y'all on that class. Y'all in the comments, y'all commenting, y'all laughing and all that good stuff. But we ain't coming to the truth for that for real. We came in to learn our culture. The brothers bringing out Torah classes where you're learning your culture again. And we got to tell people to take notes, like get in class. Why we got to do that? And you came into the truth for this. We know how to be niggas. We good at that.
Right.
We know how to be baby daddies and baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? We know how to do all the stuff that's detrimental to our community. But then when you come into something where you're supposed to be relearning your heritage to better your community, I'm good on that. But let Captain Judah be joking on TD. I'm gonna watch that class.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm just saying, hey, y'all know me. Anybody who know me know I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, whether you like it, understand it, believe it or not. And I'm gonna love you afterwards. It's all good. But I had to say that, man. Shalom, y'all.
Nah, that's beautiful. Hey, and look, y'all trying to be niggas and fringes. That's what this is, right? Don't have me call up Captain Yahweh, man.
Right.
Hey, I don't know, Captain Aharon. I don't know, man. The brother Judah might have shaved his beard or something, and he don't want to put his you just never know.
Oh, man.
Hey, Khan, if you want to jump in, I'll get you a link. Hold up. Right? He said, I'm the voice now. All right.
Yeah, and that's something I was just talking about, the Adawan. I'm like, man, he's making a good point. We could be good at being niggas. We could be good at being females who like, they call themselves bees. You know the word, you know what I'm saying? Queen, you feel me? Baby dads, baby moms. But we learn about our culture because we not good at being Israelites.
Yeah. No, that's
so
a fact.
We got to work on that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to the scripture.
I hope everybody got that act precept written down. But yeah, we have verse 14.
Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Now stop. That cannot be every captivity.
Nah.
Because every captivity, we didn't come out with great substance.
Yeah.
When we came out of the Babylonian captivity, did we come out with great substance? No, we went directly into the Persian captivity.
Mm-hmm.
When we came out of the Greek captivity, did we come out with great substance? No, we just had enough grace and mercy from the Most High that we could rededicate the temple.
Right.
And that was only for a little bit of time. And we were still under Greek oppression, on and off, all the way until the time of the Romans. So every captivity, we did not leave with great possession. So this can't be every captivity. That's the only point I want to make. Another thing is, the Lord said the nation whom we serve, he's going to judge. What's the Hebrew word for judge? Everybody should know this. If you went through the Genesis 49 chapter and you did that breakdown, you know what this word is. What's the Hebrew word for judge? We know a lot of Hebrew. So don't sell yourself short.
Drop it in the chat. If y'all engaged, y'all got y'all notes. Even if you out and about right now, and you can type on your phone because you watching the class live, you know what I'm saying? Type the Hebrew word for judge, Baba Kashah.
Right. Now there are multiple Hebrew words for judge, so I have to be fair, but I gave you a clue. See, I know Kadar Haram be knowing the Hebrew. Hey, Shalom King, what's going on?
Hey, man.
And Shalom Kazaya. But that's not the word I'm looking for. So, but you good, because that is the Hebrew word for judge. But I gave you a clue. I said Genesis 49. Genesis 49. See, they both put the same word. Shaphat, because the P or the F sound is kind of interchangeable. There we go. See that brother Ariel Bon Ephraim, he gonna put it in there, man. Right? He know what time it is. Dan, this is the tribe that Samson was from. From the tribe of Dan, and it means to judge.
Right.
Right? So when we look at this verse, it literally says but the nation whom they serve, I will Dan. That's what it says in the Hebrew. So the Most High is saying, I will judge that nation. And he used the word Dan. So we be kind of playing with the tribe of Dan for real. Because a lot of brothers, our scholarship only take us so far to understand who the tribe of Dan is in modern day. And that's why a lot of 12 tribes charts don't have that, because our historical records don't really reflect that. Only other than Eldad the Danite, it's not a lot of historical precedence for where the tribe of Dan went, right? Well, when we look at this, we got to put some respect back on Dan. Dan is a tribe, right? We got to put some respect on him. So anyway, let's keep reading. I'm on a tangent.
Okay.
Verse 15.
And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
Now, this is another proof of what the 400-year prophecy is talking about. What generation? How many generations have we been here in captivity in the Americas? I can count 4 generations in captivity right now. Matter of fact, all 4 of my generations still alive. All praise to the Most High. Right? My grandma's still alive. My parents still alive. I'm still alive. And then my kids are alive. That's 4 generations right there. Well, the Bible's telling you that in the 4th generation, they shall come out. Right? Give me Exodus chapter 6 and verse 16.
Okay. Oh. This is the book of Exodus chapter 6 and verse 16. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Kohath. And
okay. Real quick, I'm going to stop you in between the verses just to give the people a quick snapshot of who we highlight. So, real quick before I do that, because I don't want to lose nobody. Hey, Shalom, one true sky. Shalom, all praises.
Shalom.
Give me Exodus 1 and 1. We got to slow walk this. So I'm going to show you something. The Bible said in the 4th generation, they're going to come out of that land that oppressed them. So let's see who went into Egypt. And then we're going to count the generations all the way until they came out. Right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 1 and verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah.
Stop. We know the rest of the tribes came. Joseph was already here. But notice Levi was named. So somebody in the chat put Levi. All right, Boaz, jump down to Exodus 6 and 16.
Okay. Exodus chapter 6 and verse 16. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Kohath.
Okay, and Kohath. Somebody write Kohath in the comments, right? If y'all ain't got it, I'm gonna write it. So we got Levi, we got Kohath. Yep. That's 2 generations so far.
Yeah.
Right? Jump down to verse 18.
All right, verse 18. And the sons of Kohath, Amram, and Izhar, and Hebron.
Okay, we can stop there. Somebody write Amram. Amram. A-M-R-A-M. Right? Jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. And Amram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses.
You see that? Somebody write Moses. So from the time we walked into Egypt to the time we left Egypt was exactly 4 generations, just as the Most High said. So that's a very specific prophecy that can only be fulfilled in the book of Exodus. We can't even you can't even show me another prophecy or another captivity where we was there for four generations, and you got a story where we came in on the first generation, 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth generation we was leaving. You can't show it, right? So we have to concede that Genesis chapter 15, the 400-year prophecy is talking about Egypt, and I'm gonna put the 4 generations on here. But see, this is the type of stuff we need to be doing when we're talking about doing a Torah study. We're talking about deep diving the Torah, going into stuff that your Christian church is not going to go into, because number one, we was taught to read past the genealogies because the genealogy don't matter.
Right.
So now we bringing it back and saying, no, not only do the genealogy matter, but I need to know the genealogy. I need to know the genealogy similar to how I know the breakdown for John 3:16, because those are my forefathers. Well, I'm gonna forget my forefathers.
That's right.
All right. All praise to the Most High. I'm gonna pin that up for a second, and then we can get back into Genesis 15. Also highlight that a brother in the camp asked for a breakdown between the genealogies of Matthew and the genealogy of Luke. Right? Excellent question. I was actually asked this question one time on Clubhouse, and I didn't have the answer. But we wasn't there to teach that day, right? But that prompted me to go back and study, and then the brother brought it back up. So all praise to the Most High. That's the importance of the genealogies. You got to know it, because the Old Testament only will try to tell you that your New Testament is corrupt because the genealogies don't match. Mm-hmm. So you got to know. All right? Come on, we can go back.
Right. Verse 17. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces in the same day.
That, what is that talking about? Remember the covenant, or remember the sacrifice Abraham just did? He laid the animals in a row, and now Abraham falls asleep and he sees the vision of the 400-year prophecy. And then after that happens, he wakes up he didn't wake up. It just says when the sun went down, it was dark, and he saw a smoking furnace pass through the pieces, right? So he saw like the image of a fire walking through those, that sacrifice that he performed. All right, go ahead.
Okay. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Now, I want to say this real quick too. Shalom Abaya, Shalom. All praise to the Most High. Hope you're doing well. Joanne Gilchrist. Did we see Joanne earlier? Shalom, Joanne.
She was the first.
Okay. I ain't remember hearing her name. All right. Yeah. And look, it says from the river Euphrates to the great river. Now I want to point something out. The Palestinians that's over there in the land, one of their main slogans is from the river to the sea. One of their main slogans is from the river to the sea. Now, I don't know why they say that, right? And Mark Lamont Hill got kicked off of CNN for even using that type of phraseology. But from the river to the sea is something that pertains to the Israelites, right? That's why we don't rock with the Palestinians like that. We only use that story of the Palestinians going through what they're going through to highlight that the so-called small hats over there, they are just white people oppressing other not white people. That's what they're doing. And they're going to continue to do that. So we highlight that to show the world that, hey, the same oppression we preach on week in and week out, they're still carrying it out. And the whole world's going to follow them until they carry their plan out. Right. We read that in prophecy. So as we see this, it's very funny that the Most High gave Abraham between the river of Egypt and the great river, the Euphrates. That's a lot of land. And if you look on your map, I'm going to try to pull it up. I don't have this in my presentation, but if you look on your map, that's a lot of land. We're talking about half of what you would call Egypt on your map today, all of the Sinai Peninsula, all of Palestine, and most of Arabia, all the way till you get to the river Euphrates. I'm gonna make myself big real quick, boys. Hold on. Look at this. That's everything between this river over in this area and hold on, my finger can't find out where it's at. And the Nile River right here in Egypt. Everything in between that is supposed to be ours. Everything. Right? From the river to the Great River. Right? So when we looking at modern day Israel today, that's not all of what the Most High gave us.
Right.
That's not all of what the Most High gave us. He gave us much more than that.
Yeah, because that's a small portion what they got, what they show today, the modern.
You see what I'm saying, bro? They playing with us. They playing with us, and then they redraw the maps to make you think it's a such thing as the Middle East.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I ain't gonna stay on that. Go ahead.
Verse 19. The Kenites and the Kenzanites. Hold up, Salakia. The Kenites and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rapha and the Raphaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites.
God, you see that? Now, I'm not even gonna hit you with the precepts on this. In some places in the Bible, they call Joshua son of Nun, they call him a Kenizzite. Some people will try to tell you that the Kenizzites of Genesis 15 and 19 is the same people that did I say Joshua? Is it Joshua or Caleb? I can't remember. Hold on real quick. One of them brothers, they try to tell you comes from these Kenizzites, and that's not correct, right? He comes from a man named Kenaz who had children, and we call them the Kenizzites, but they're Israelites. Caleb, there you go. Ariel know who I'm talking about. Hey, all praise to the Most High, Abaya. Hey, look, hey, Amazon, man. Amazon got it for you, right? Amazon got it for you. And I ain't even paid really nothing for it. I paid like $40. But yeah, that's right, Caleb. So don't fall for that. That's an old trick. And that's almost like what the brother did a couple of weeks ago when he was trying to say that the Amalekites are not Edomites. Remember he was trying to do that? It's kind of the same argument. Like they go back and they find somebody else in the Bible with a similar name, and then they attach another people group down the line to that people that they found the name. So just because you see two words in the Bible that's the same word, it may not be a good precept.
Right.
Right. So make sure you go in and dig deeper to understand the precepts. All right. Let's keep going.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 16 and verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
Now, notice, Abraham is not counted as wicked for doing this. If multiple wives is wicked, Abram would be counted as wicked right here.
Right.
Right. But let's watch what happens. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say another thing in the chapter before when the Most High spake to him, he just told him that he was gonna have children by his how he said
right, by his the man who's born in his house.
Well, but it said by his, what did it say, by his loins or by his bowels.
Yeah,
out of his bowels. But he didn't necessarily give specific as far as like who at that time, right? Mm-hmm. Like Hagar or Sarai, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was just talking about as far as like
from Abraham.
Him having a multitude of children that he cannot number type stuff.
Right. And you know what? That's an excellent point. I'm gonna let you finish that. You just brought up.
The only reason why I'm saying that is because I've heard like she was out of line. I heard this where it was like she went out of her place because it was like she didn't have faith because she rushed him to do it. But I'm like, from what I'm looking at right now, unless there's something in 15 we missed, there was nothing that was letting Sarah know that she was going to bear Abraham a child at the time.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that the Most High made it clear that the seed should come through the man Abraham, but did not make it clear that it should come through Sarah? Because the seed line comes through the man.
Right.
And that's another proof of why we go to Numbers 1 and 18. You see that? That's excellent. So here, Sarah is still confused. And she's like, yo, maybe the Lord wants the seed to come through Hagar because Hagar is my servant, and that would still be counted as my child, but it's really Abraham's child. So, okay, cool. I can rock with that. Take Hagar. Right? Let's follow the story.
Okay.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
Hold up. Not to be the concubine, but to be his wife while he has a wife. Right? Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. I mean, that's fine. You know, if you can demonstrate how we speculating, that's fine. I'm not mad because listen, this is what we doing it for. But I want you to see this, that Sarah never stopped being Abraham's wife when Hagar became Abraham's wife. Pay attention to that, right? Keep reading.
Verse 4. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
You see that? Because she was jealous. Right? Let's keep going.
And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
Okay, so a little bit of tension going on there. Hey, real quick, One True Sky, just let us know where we speculating so we can clear it up. Maybe it's a communication thing. Right? Let's hit verse 7.
Verse 7. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
So this is very important to highlight, because the Ishmaelites eventually are going to come through Hagar, right? And the Ishmaelites are children of Abraham.
Right.
So just by the strength of being children of Abraham, the Most High God is going to bless Ishmael. Right? Let's keep reading it though. No, she said the promise was delivered through Sarah. That's so true. The promise was delivered through Sarah. But whose bowels was it prophesied that it must come from? Do you see what we're saying? So we're not saying Sarah didn't do nothing, right? This is not to say that Sarah is not a great woman and to be greatly revered throughout all of history, right? Barakatah her name. But still, the seed she was only carrying Abraham's seed. Because the promise was that Abraham's seed would be as numerous as the stars, and she was the carrier of that seed. That's what. Come on, go ahead.
Slakia. And even in the verse that was just read, even the Lord told Hagar what? That it shall, her seed, he will multiply her seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. That's
Right.
like the same thing what he just told Abraham.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So
Correct.
he wasn't
Now
specific as far as like, but it's only going to be through her, or it's only going to be through him. He's just like, your seed going to be multiplied, that the stars, it won't even be able to number, because Abraham has many children.
Correct. And he was already blessed with that before she conceived. So that promise, that promise of your seed being as numerous as the stars actually splits off, and Hagar gets a piece of that promise because it's the seed of Abraham that she's carrying. That's all we're saying, right? But it's fine. That's fine. So keep reading, because actually, by the time we get to Genesis chapter 17, which is why I wanted to bundle these chapters together, Genesis 17 is going to make that abundantly clear, right? Israel are not stars. I don't understand what that means. Rephrase that for us, please. So go ahead.
Verse 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
Okay. Come on.
Kind. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
Right. Okay. There you go. I see what you're saying. I see what she's saying. She's saying Ishmael is not the stars, so therefore they don't count as Abraham's seed. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what she's saying. She said Ishmael is not the stars. Therefore, I think the conclusion is that they would not be counted as Abraham's seed.
Salakia, I got something. All right. So in the city, it's hard to be able to look up to the stars due to all the chemicals in the sky and the lights and everything like that. But when you go into like the country or the woods or wilderness, you can see the stars, right? Can you actually sit out and look at the sky and count all the stars? You really can't. Like you can't look deep enough into the sky to even see certain stars that's next to other stars that you see might be brighter than another star.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in the reference of what the Most High was saying, he was just letting him know, like, bro, you just gonna have a whole lot of children. He just used the stars as
the example.
Yeah.
Right. No, but think about this too, right? Because the children of Israel are referenced as stars in the Old Testament. Let's get that. Let's get Genesis chapter Joseph's dream, right? It's going to be Genesis 37 and 9. This is what I believe this is what she's referring to. Genesis 37 and verse 9. And we also know Revelation 12 and 1, right? The woman with the 12 stars, a crown of 12 stars, which represents the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? But let's get this one real quick. Genesis 37 and 9.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 37 and verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and behold, it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
Now, watch what he says, right? Watch what he says in verse 10. Watch this.
And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth?
So Jacob ain't stupid. Jacob understands the breakdown. Joseph go to sleep, have a dream that the sun, moon, and the 11 stars bow down to him. Immediately, Jacob like, he talking about us. The 12 tribes is the stars, and me and my wife are the sun and the moon, right? So immediately Jacob understood the breakdown. So right there we have proof that the 12 tribes of Israel are referenced as stars.
Thanks.
But what Boaz is pointing out is that when the Most High says that, your seed will be as numerous as the stars, he's saying your seed is going to be innumerable. And he told that to Jacob, because we know that Jacob's children are innumerable. That passed down from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob. But then he also says it here to Hagar, right? Read verse 10 one more time, and then we're going to keep moving.
Okay. Verse 10, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
You see what I'm saying? And that seed came from Abraham. So it's not a reach to say that Abraham's seed is still going to be innumerable, even through Hagar, right? Even though that's not the seed of promise.
Yeah, that's right? That's the main thing. They're not the seed of promise, but it doesn't exclude them from being a part of that innumerable number of multitude. You know what I'm saying? But that was a great question to the sister One True Sky, the water. You know what I'm saying? That way, people can get more edification. Like, I like that.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what we're talking about. People need to engage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight up.
Kind. Where is that? Verse 14.
Yeah.
Verse 13. And she called the name of the Lord and spake unto her. That spake unto her.
Hold up, stop. See, this is another one we're gonna have to bring out. Look at verse 13. Give me Genesis 16 and 13 in the interlinear. 16 and 13 interlinear. I wish I could share my screen, but y'all got to trust me. And she called the name of Yahweh, who spoke to her. Right? So this is a passage that now we got to step back and say, okay, the Most High spoke directly to her. And it says she called the name of Yahweh. I'm just going to leave that, right? We're going to keep reading them. Go ahead.
And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Bel-Laharai. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered.
Now, real quick before you keep going, I want to say this very clearly. This also destroys the Galatians 3 and 6 understanding that anybody who believes on God is brought into the covenant. Because she called on the name of the Lord, which she probably learned from Abraham directly.
Right.
None of y'all learned the name of the Lord from Abraham directly. None of y'all did. But Hagar did. And the Most High still didn't give her the covenant. So it don't have nothing to do with you being a Gentile that just believe and you want to follow Abraham and you want to do this and you want to do that. If the Most High didn't give the covenant to you, he didn't give it to you.
Thanks.
We don't make the rules. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't make the rules. Right? And we're going to see that abundantly clear once again in chapter 17. But we're going to read this. Finish that out.
And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram.
All right, Khan. So, yeah, go ahead. Make that point.
I was sitting back here listening to, I got this app, right? And I'm listening to the reading. Sometimes if I'm not able to sit down and read, you know what I'm saying, I'll listen to the reading and it'll read it for me. why they sitting back here reading this and they making Abram and Sarai sound old, but it just told you like Abram was like 46 years old. He's like middle age, yo. Like you should not be doing the reading like Abraham and Sarai sounding like bear me a child. Like she's super old. She wasn't even that old yet.
Nah. They was in their strength. Even at their age, they was in their strength.
But that's all I wanted to point out. Slack you out of
Nah. That's a good point, because back then our people was more holistic and we was more in tune with the earth and we knew what to eat and what not to eat. This is something me and Judah been talking about recently. We slaves to convenience now.
Facts.
So because McDonald's can give me a cheeseburger in 7 minutes, I'm gonna go there and eat that. But that's taking 7 minutes off my life in the end. You know what I mean? Like every cheeseburger I eat takes 7 minutes off my life or something like that. So if we gonna be a slave to convenience and lose on the back end, you know, we only suffering for that. But our forefathers wasn't doing that. They was 90, 80, 100 years old. And I used to live in Japan. Old people, 90, 100 years old, walking down the street. Straight up. Yeah, look, Judah said now 5 years off your life. Yeah.
Man.
So, but that's when I used to live in Japan, old people, 100 years old, walking down the street.
Facts. Still seeing and everything.
Seeing and everything.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to hit y'all with something real quick before we jump into 17, because we got to close out with 17. But a major belief system of followers of Islam is that they believe the covenant goes through Ishmael, and they will teach publicly that where the Bible says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they would say that's a mistranslation. And they would say Isaac should actually be Ishmael, and somebody changed the Bible. Now, number one way of destroying that, somebody put it in the chat. When was the Quran written or dictated to Muhammad, right? When did the angel Gabriel or Jibril, when did Jibril come down and give Muhammad the Quran? What year was this approximately, right? I'm going to put it in the chat. There you go. See, World Without End be quick. Look at this. 500 years, at least 500 years after the Bible. Right. That's actually the answer. But at least 500 years, at least 600 years after the Bible. So how are you 600 years after my document has been written, coming back and saying that somebody changed my document when you wasn't even around until 600 years after my document was written? And this is where they got cut. When the Dead Sea Scrolls was discovered, Islam should have ceased to be a religion at that point in time.
Facts.
Because the Dead Sea Scrolls predate Islam. So we have documents that say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob before Islam even existed.
Facts.
So close the book and run away, right? Well, the reason I bring that up is because y'all write this down in your notes. Write this down in your notes. Is Surah 4 and 163. Surah 4, 163. Right? Another thing that's confusing about that whole Islam thing is, if you believe in Moses, why are you saying the covenant go through Ishmael when Moses came through Isaac and Jacob? Right? So I'm just giving y'all some keys, man. Don't let them Muslims start doing all that with you, right? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
You said Surah 4 and 163. I'm trying to find my.
Yeah, just Google it.
Oh, there we go. Nah, I got I got a Quran. I got a whole Surah list going on here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm writing them all down.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, bro? I've never heard nobody say that. So Judah asked One True Sky. Judah asked One True Sky why she said milk and meat don't mix. Now, when she said that, I was thinking like the simple things and the deep things, you know what I'm saying? Because you might lose the listeners or something like that. That's kind of what I was thinking she was saying. Judah said, why you said that? She said the dietary laws, because she's referencing when you can't bathe a kid in its mother's milk. So that's a spiritual principle that connects to the Torah. I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, go ahead, read that. Sirach 4 and 163.
Well, I gotta find it first. All right, give me 1 second. Salakia Israel. Hey, if y'all are enjoying the class as far as it goes right now, go ahead and drop a 7 in the chat. All right, so this is Sirach. I hope I got the right one. 4:163. It says, "O Muhammad, we have revealed to you as we revealed to Noah and the prophets after him, and we revealed to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the offspring of Jacob, and Jesus, and Job, and Jonah, and Aaron, and Solomon, and we gave to David psalms."
Yo, so why is Ishmael name in there at all, bro? Ishmael the only person that's not in that bloodline. Ishmael was the only person named. Read the beginning part.
Wait. Where's the rest of Ishmael's bloodline in that? Because everybody else is.
You see what I'm saying? Everybody else barbecue chicken. Read it. Watch this. But they said the Bible inserted things. But I want you to read this and tell me this don't sound like an insertion. Go ahead.
So you want me to read it again or keep on reading?
Just that beginning, like 8 words or whatever it was.
We have revealed to you as we revealed to Noah and the prophets after him, and we revealed to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the offspring of Jacob, and Jesus.
We can stop there. Because Jesus is talking about Joshua, right? In that particular passage.
Okay.
Right? That's talking about in my estimation, I would say it's talking about Joshua, but it could be talking about Christ, because some Muslims believe in Christ, but then they give him different attributes and they don't believe he died and all this type of stuff.
I mean, in the order it makes sense because Joshua or Job, but
right, exactly. That's why I would say is Joshua, right? But anyway, we're gonna drop that. We're gonna leave that alone. None of that don't make no sense. The Ishmaelites don't know the covenant, right? And we're gonna prove that with this next chapter. And even though, once again, our Galatians 3 and 6 breakdown, where our Christians say that anybody who believes in Abraham is now a son of Abraham and an heir, that's the word they use, an heir of the promise. Let's read Genesis chapter 17.
Okay. This is the book of Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
Okay, so I'm not going to stay here long. Deuteronomy 18 and 13, Matthew 5 and 48, Ephesians 1 and 4, Sirach 44 and 19, right? All of those kind of go with that same thought process. But let's keep going.
Yo, this is 53 years later.
Mad years later.
All right. Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Come on.
Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee.
So when you break down the word Abraham in Hebrew, you got Abba, which is father, and you got which is people. So Abraham, right? So his name is father of many people. Right? That's what the Most High named him. Let's keep going.
And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And
now,
I will.
I want to give y'all something to put in your tool bag real quick. Anytime a Christian want to deal with the covenant, bring them right here. Don't even go nowhere. You want to talk about the covenant? Cool. Genesis chapter 17, starting at 7. Because in order for you to fit the Gentiles in there, you got to change what this passage says. I can go to this passage in the ESV. I can go to this passage in the damn ABC, right? It don't matter what translation I want to use. You cannot get away from Genesis chapter 17.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we talking about people who revered and loved Abraham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep reading on.
God. Verse 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God.
Come on.
And God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Now, I want to stop here real fast. They say, the Christians, they say that the law of Moses is done away with. And in order to make that point and prove it, they go to Acts chapter 15. Acts chapter 15 is making a case that you don't need to be circumcised in order for a Gentile to come into the covenant during the New Testament, right? When they were starting to bring the northern kingdom back into the covenant, right? Or scattered Judites or whatever these people were, as they was bringing them back, it was a big discussion in Acts chapter 15. Should they be circumcised? Christians will say, see, the disciple says you don't have to be circumcised, so that proves the entire Mosaic law is done away with. This is the cut. That Mosaic law, that was not only a Mosaic law. That was a covenant made with Abraham before Moses. And the Most High God said it's an everlasting covenant. The reason the disciples were allowing people to join in without being circumcised is because they could never go back to the 8th day and be circumcised.
Right.
You can never go back in time to the 8th day of your life. So you will never fulfill that commandment. So instead of doing that, you come back with a repentant heart, Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16, a circumcised heart, and then the Lord would accept you into the covenant. That's what the Bible's talking about. So once again, this is why we got to have the foundations of the covenant to even have those conversations about Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going.
Verse 11. Wait.
Start at 10. Start at 10.
Verse 10. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or brought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He have broken my covenant.
So this is where that idea comes from in Acts chapter 15. Yo, should we even let these people in? because they ain't circumcised, yo. Like, I understand you love these people. I understand they want to come back to the Most High. That's all fine, well, and good. But guess what, brother? Read Genesis 17 and 14. This is what they was doing to Paul when Paul was trying to bring people in, like Timothy. You know what I'm saying? The different people, Cornelius. When they was trying to bring people back into the fold of Israel, they was hitting Paul with that. Yo, go to Genesis 17 and 14, Paul. What about that? And then Paul was like, well, look, there's prophecies that in the land where they don't know themselves, they shall bethink themselves and turn back to the Lord. So how is that going to come to pass if these people are already cut off and it can never be redeemed? That's what Paul's teaching. Let's get Hosea chapter 1 and verse, y'all know what I want, 1 and verse 10, I believe it is.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Stop. Go back to like verse 8, if you don't mind.
Okay, verse 8.
Now start at 9.
Or 9?
Yeah, Salakia, start at 9.
Okay. Then said Yahweh, call his name, Lo am I, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God.
So right here, the Most High is saying that he's giving a prophecy in similitude form. He names one of Hosea's children a name that means not my children. Lo ami, right? Remember I told you means people, right? We was talking about Abraham. So means people. Lo means not my people. That's literally what it means. So the Most High is saying figuratively for Israel, they're not my people. But watch what he says in the very next verse. They've been cut off, just as we read about, as what the Most High told Abraham to do. They've been cut off. But watch what he says the very next verse.
Okay. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Okay, so we got a lot of information. That verse starts with yet. Even though they was cut off, those same people who it was said unto them, you are not my people, those same people will once again be called the sons of the living God. That's the only way the Bible works. If we have people in the Old Testament that was cut off because they didn't keep the covenant of circumcision, and now the whole tribe of Dan is cut off, the whole tribe of Ephraim is cut off, the whole tribe of Manasseh is cut off, Asher is cut off, then how can the promise be fulfilled to Abraham? That's why the Lord said, yet shall the children of Israel. He said, yet I will remember my promise that I gave to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the whole thing. So when we understand the foundational principles in Genesis 15, 16, and 17, it's going to give us keys to breaking down everything Paul says. All right, let's finish this out. I'm going to let you read this. I might stop you one more time, but I'm going to let you read this one through.
Okay. Genesis chapter 15 of chapter 17 and verse 15. And Yahweh said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
Now I want to say something. If Abraham say a prayer, if Abraham asked the Most High for anything on earth, I believe he gonna get it. Right? He asked the Most High, oh, that Ishmael would live before thee. What does that mean? Oh, that you will bring in Ishmael. Because Abraham been living with Ishmael this long. How long you said it was,
53 years.
It's been a long time. He been living with Ishmael a long time. So he like, yo, you got to bring my son. Come on, you got. Of course, you talking about him, right? Watch what the Lord says.
Okay. And Yahweh said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
Come on.
And as far as Ishmael have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begat, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So it's not about who Abraham loves. It's not about who loves Abraham. It's not even about who Abraham's child is. It's about who the Lord said the promise is going to.
Right.
It's the only thing it's about. And I challenge any Christian anywhere on earth, and any Muslim anywhere on earth, to show me how that's not the proper interpretation. Right? Let's go ahead to verse 22.
Okay, verse 22. And he left off talking with him, and Yahweh went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were brought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as Yahweh had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son.
Hold on, bro. We just read past something. How old was Abraham when he was circumcised?
90 and 9.
Was he 8 days old?
Wow.
What did the covenant say? Go back to verse 12.
Verse 12. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you.
So anytime a Christian hits you with, if you're not 8 days old, you ain't really getting circumcised. You ain't even in the covenant because you wasn't 8 days old when you were circumcised. Well, what about Abraham?
Well over.
What about Abraham, the person who started the covenant? Crickets. Right? Let's finish that out. Go ahead.
Fine. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin.
Hey, and check this out. Ishmael was circumcised, but he still wasn't in the covenant.
Right.
Explain that. So now, once again, it's so many ways to break this down simple and smooth for y'all, man. It's so many ways. So go ahead and finish that out. We're gonna hit them with the last couple of thoughts, and then we're gonna bounce.
Verse 26. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house born in the house that bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him.
All praise Barakatah Yahweh Shah for the reading. Hey, look, man. All praise to the Most High. This was a good class. I'm happy y'all joined. I actually had a slideshow loaded up, but I'm gonna save that because we did have to hit 3 chapters today. So I'm not gonna hit y'all with the slideshow. But be on the lookout. It might pop out tomorrow. It might, you know what I'm saying? You just never know. Yeah, y'all be ready. Next week we're gonna hit chapter 18, 18 and 19. Those are the chapters that go together. So we're gonna group those two together. It just makes sense. But hey, all praise. Hey, we glad you stepped in too, One True Scott. All praises. All praise to the Most High. But yeah, hey, till next time, man. Hey, let's hit him with that Daniel.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. By Shema Mashiach Yahushai.
By Shema Mashiach Yahushai.
Hey,
look, Shalom, y'all. Don't forget to RSVP to the Passover. You don't want to miss that. All right? Shalom.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce.